All right, guys, what's up? Sorry for the super late stream if you're here in the United States. I just got off work and I am going to see The Rise of Skywalker on Tuesday, and tonight's the only night I can watch The Last Jedi. This is the last movie in the whole franchise that we need to do for this live stream, so we're going to do that right now. If you want to join me, here's how it works. This is the time code right here. I'm going to be streaming it on my computer. Sorry, you will not be seeing it all in this live stream, but if you want to join or tag along, this is what the time code will be in the movie. And I'm also going to let this live on my channel so that if you don't want to watch right now, you can come back at any time when you're watching The Last Jedi on your own and pop this on and, use it as kind of a commentary track. With that being said, let's get into this before it gets too late. I have to get through this before it's really, really early. Anyway, let's start this. I'm going to start the time and the movie. All right. Now, of course, this is the movie that has fans so divided. Sadly. I really liked it. Yeah, there's a few things that I don't love, but I thought it was a really brave change of pace and kind of breaks the pattern of how predictive all these past Star Wars movies have been through the years. And gosh, just a couple days away from the Rise of Skywalker. I know I'm excited. I know there's a lot of people divided, but I'm really stoked. All right, The Crawl. Episode 8, The Last Jedi. The First Order reigns. Having decimated the peaceful Republic, Supreme Leader Snoke now deploys his merciless legions to seize military control of the galaxy. Only General Leia Organa's band of resistance fighters stand against the rising tyranny. Certain that Jedi Masters Luke Skywalker will return and restore a spark of hope to the fight. But the resistance has been exposed and the First Order speeds toward the Rebels' base. The brave heroes mount a desperate escape. At this point, I'm just reading the Crawl out of tradition. I've done it for every single one of them. Not something you necessarily want to hear or see me read, but why not? I figure. Instead of me just sitting here staring. Another thing, this opening shot where they zoom past the Resistance freighter, and then you see all the ships coming. It was such a great shot. But no, what I was going to say is, The Mandalorian, I think, is changing their release this week because of the Rise of Skywalker. This week, it will be airing, yes, that's right, on Wednesday the 18th instead of Friday. So we'll be getting that one on Wednesday. And then for the final episode, it goes back to Friday. General Hux is really enthusiastic in this movie, in his role. And that Dreadnought is a cool starship, man. Very cool. There we go. A single light fighter. This is very reminiscent of, I think it's Empire Strikes Back? Yeah, when the Empire is saying, wow, there's a single freighter coming at us in regards to the Millennium Falcon. Poe and his X-Wing. This made a lot of people mad. When Poe is talking to General Hux and Poe's responding like he's on a phone call, like, "Hey, I'm calling for Hux. Okay, I'll hold." I didn't mind it. I thought it was kind of funny, but man, some people really didn't like that. Tooling with you. And why he had to go super fast here is beyond me. I mean, I guess it's to avoid the gunfire, but it is a pretty epic attack by a solo X-Wing fighter. Pretty great. Captain Kennedy. Is that a reference to Kathleen Kennedy? Maybe. I don't remember reading anything or hearing anything about that, but it's a very good possibility. BB-8's going in for repairs. Those are some big cannons, man. Barely, by the skin of their teeth. Yeah, Poe's pretty defiant in this installment. Again, that's another thing that bothered a lot of people. I thought it was a little much, but it didn't bother me to the point where I hated it. It was desperate times, you know. He's just pushing for victory. And then BB-8 is so frustrated, he just uses his whole head to recircuit the breaker. Nice. Here come those bombers. Yeah, this is this is one of the bigger space battles in the sequel trilogy. Well, obviously I haven't seen the third one, but I feel like for the most part, all the space battles we've had in these newer movies are kind of disappointing. You know, you look at like A New Hope has a pretty epic one on the Death Star, and then of course Return of the Jedi. That one is just so epic. Rogue One has a superb one above Scarif. So let's hope in the next one. I mean, we've seen some hints that there could be, but let's hope in the next one there's a big old space battle. That's my hope. Yikes. Only one bomber left. That's right, Rose's sister. There's some really cool shots right here. She's got to be hurting after that fall. As the remote's falling, you think, oh, it went past her, and she reaches down and grabs it. Epic. Boom. Very impressive. Hmm. Heavy losses. Yeah, and Leia looks so much older in this one than in the Force Awakens. Oh, snap. No, you won't. You won't take it in your chambers. Good old Finn. I'm surprised they haven't made a figure of Finn wearing that back to suit, back to water suit. So funny. It's a pretty solid transition there. man, this Luke moment was so anticipated by everyone. What's he gonna say? What's he gonna do? And I bet nobody suspected what happens to happen. And I think that's why everyone was so upset. Anyway, I take it as he sees the lightsaber and he's like, first of all, he's like, where did you get this? And then he's like, I'm done. I don't want any part of this. You know? It's like, pull me back in. He's like, I'm out. And, he's, in so many words, he says that later on. But, yeah. He's become this old hermit that likes to fish and drink green milk. Oh, the porgs. I feel like every movie since just about every Star Wars movie feels the need to introduce a new cute thing. I mean, obviously, Baby Yoda's all the rage right now, thanks to The Mandalorian, but, for The Force Awakens, you had BB-8, super adorable droid. For this, you had the porgs. And then, of course, The Rise of Skywalker, we have Dio, that new little droid, and then there's I don't know his name, but he's like a little droid repair being. It's like the size of C-3PO's head. Who knows? There's always something cute. Right there, I kind of feel like we did get gypped a little bit when Luke asks Chewie, where's Han? We don't get anything from that. He just asks the question and it's just left. It would have been really nice to see some sort of emotional reaction, or how Luke handles the news. Especially since he trained Kylo. I don't know. And then also the contrast between Snoke in The Force Awakens and this. In Force Awakens, he's this big, looming, dark figure. And in this, he looks like he's straight out of a Bee Gees music video. Gold bathrobe in a well-lit room. I mean, he is a little intimidating, but he's not nearly as scary or intimidating as he was in The Force Awakens. But there's no denying Andy Serkis's talent, man. He really delivers a hell of a performance for Snoke. It's easy to forget that it's even Andy Serkis. And then Kylo doesn't put his mask on for the rest of the movie, which is a big... I like Adam Driver, but I don't want to see his face. The mask is so cool. We want more mask. Thank goodness JJ has him repair it in the next movie. Yeah, dude. I'm straight. Snoke straight up looks like he's about to bust a boogie down to Staying Alive in that robe. Oh, he made Kylo mad. Yeah, there's no denying Kylo Ren is one of the better Star Wars characters throughout the entire saga, man. He's so complex. I feel like there's more complexity to him than there was for Anakin. I'm not saying he's a better character, he just there's more levels of complexity. He's like a pendulum. He like swings close to the light and then he just swings just as hard in the opposite direction, if not harder. And then Daisy Ridley looks like 5 years older in this movie. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Luke is so bitter. He's given up on the Force, which I think is a very interesting thing. I didn't hate the idea of it all, like some people did. I feel like a lot of people expected him to be this super Jedi with that had mastered his powers and was almost unstoppable. But I think because of all the discouraging things that had happened with his Jedi training and or training the young Jedi and just kind of seeing how everyone's died, it makes sense that he wants to just let the Jedi way disappear. Oh, this part gets me every time, the green milk. I mean, right out of the teat. Ah. Then that 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 creature looks at Ray like it just got violated, which it did. Okay, so he's got this like 80-foot pole and he spears a fish. They don't show him how he gets that fish to the surface, dude. That is what I want to see is how he handles that 80-foot pole to get that fish. He's like, "You're still here? What are you doing here?" The cave is calling to her, or the Jedi Temple is calling to her. I'm sorry, it's not a Jedi Temple. It's the tree stump with the Jedi text is calling to her. Oh man, it's gonna be late before this thing's over. Got to do it. Got to push through. He's like, who are you? You've seen this place. The First Order. Yeah, I mean, even if Luke was the most amazing Jedi, the First or the Resistance is so like run down and small at this point. They couldn't possibly think that he could single-handedly help them win. Clearly, if he were to come help, his presence would probably draw the attention of other people and they would join in the fight. I don't know. That's what I'm thinking. Yeah, I'm really happy that even though Carrie Fisher passed away, that they were able to figure out a way to keep her in that last movie. It'll be interesting to see how they do it, but I'm really glad that they didn't just write her out or, CGI her. I mean, overly CGI her. Clearly, they're going to give her new hair and clothes and locations and whatnot, but they're not changing her face or her performance, so that's what's important. Hey, it's Admiral Akbar. Yo, Snoke's ship is massive. It's bigly. They Yeah, they're launching a full assault, but then it gets spoiled by their onslaught. It's really sad that all these pilots just get toasted in one explosion, along with Poe's X-Wing. Kylo Ren's ship is tight, man. It's like a souped-up TIE fighter. By the way, how lucky is Poe that he didn't die right there? So lucky. The Force was with him. Got toasted, man. It's funny how Poe and Leia are on the same page, even though they're not in the same room. They like have the same thought process. All right, here's a callback to that shot from the end of Empire when Vader senses Luke on the Millennium Falcon. It's like this cool, like, fade wipe. They do the same effect with Leia and Kylo Ren here, which is really kind of cool. Nice little callback. Nice touch. You know, with the tension building, is he going to fire? And when he takes his finger off the trigger, you're relieved, and then the other two TIE fighters, boom. That was so shocking. I was like, Leia's gone. I was like, what? This is the one thing in this movie that I dislike the most by far. And it's not the fact that Leia comes to, and it's not even the fact that she uses the Force to pull herself back. It's the fact that she's like a mile and a half away from the ship, you know, really far distance, and pulls herself through through space like Mary Poppins, and it just looks so tacky. It would have been so much better. It would have been a better approach if she was like 100 feet instead of, you know, a massive distance. And there's also a cool reference, little foreshadowing of the when Holdo goes through, when Holdo Lightspeed jumps through Snoke's ship. When Leia's coming in right now using the Force, she goes through Snoke's ship hologram, the same path. Kind of a cool little foreshadowing moment. This scene is hilarious. Where Chewie's trying to eat a porg. Very funny. There's one that's like about to cry. That's funny. I love it. There's something so special about seeing the OG characters just walk into the cockpit of the Falcon. And when Luke goes in there and grabs the dice, chills, man. I love it. Oh yeah, and then he R2. Oh, this part gets me every time. It's such a nice touch, the Leia hologram, because it brings back the feelings you had of when Luke first saw her, of course, but it's also kind of a nice tribute to Carrie Fisher. Every time it hits me right in the heart. Oh, it's so precious. It's funny in the Force Awakens, the New Order, the sorry, in the Force Awakens, the First Order refers to BB-8 as a one of a kind droid, right? There are so many BB-8 units in this movie. Like right now in this room, there's like four, not counting BB-8, and then of course you have the First Order BB unit. So much for being one of a kind. I really like Admiral Holdo. Good, strong character. Kind of steps up to the plate to deal with the problems. Mhm. It's one thing these movies establish well is that Finn is a runner. Like when things get hard, he wants to run away. Ran away from the First Order. Now he wants to run away from the rebellion, the resistance. I mean, he says he wants to go help Rey, so yeah, maybe he's going to find Rey, but there's no denying he's running away when things get tough. Yeah, Rose Tico. Another character that was really attacked hard, Rose. And I don't see what the big deal is. I think she's a fine character. There's nothing heavy handed about her. And she doesn't really dominate the story that much. She's more of a side character than anything. Hmm. They were running away. She's like, "You're running away." Hmm. Oh man, excuse me. I mean, this. I think this movie's. I think this is the longest Star Wars movie of all of them, like of the entire franchise. Let's see here. Yeah, it's the longest. 152 minutes. That's so long. And you know what? Honestly, I wish they would have either cut out completely or cut down, at very least cut down the whole Canto Bite stuff. That part is so boring. It drags so badly. It's like easily the most uninteresting part of the whole movie. And that would have cut it down to like, 2 hours and 10 minutes or 2 hours and 5 minutes. But the good news is The Force Awakens was 138 minutes. The Last Jedi is 152 minutes, which is the longest, and it's going to stay the longest because The Rise of Skywalker is coming in at 141 minutes. So it's right there in the same range as The Force Awakens. Oh, this Skype call to Maz Kanata is so. I don't love that either. Oh, gosh. Maz is a little bit of a philanderer. She loves Chewie. She's talking about this hacker that she's got a thing for on Canto Bight. Justin Thoreau's character, who that guy looks like he has an interesting and fun story. Here comes Force FaceTime. Well, everyone talks about how this is a new force power. Not really. I mean, think back to Empire Strikes Back. Luke's hanging off the bottom of Bespin, and he's calling out to Leia. Yeah, granted, they're not looking at each other and physically seeing each other, but he clearly calls out to her and helps her track him down. So it's definitely not I wouldn't call this a new force ability. And you got all those Reylo fans out there. Which, might pay off in the next movie. If Kylo does get redempted, if he does have full redemption, what am I trying to say? If Kylo Ren is redeemed, there we go. Maybe they end up together. But in my opinion, I feel like the only way he could be redeemed and you'll have it sit okay is if he does it in like a blaze of glory. If like he sacrifices his life to save others. Because I feel like he's done too much evil to be like okay with being around still. Almost just like Vader. Like Vader, Anakin did so many terrible things as Darth Vader, but throwing the Emperor down the pit and saving Luke, it redeemed him in a way, but there's no way he could have gone on and been good, so it was smart that he died off. So in my opinion, I think that's what might happen with Kylo, and I feel like that's the only thing that really would make sense. Since we know Palpatine's coming back in some shape or form, it also makes sense that a bigger evil threatens everyone, and it causes Kylo to turn because there's, I don't know. We'll see in a few days. I can't wait. I'm seeing it Tuesday morning. Not even 48 hours. Like, oh, you guys, I can't wait. Oh my gosh. Okay, at 47:45, the line Daisy delivers sounds like she's just, Master Skywalker, we need your help. Please listen. It's like she's just reading it for the first time and they just decided to leave that in the movie. It's so bad. So there's a few moments in this movie that I'm just like, why? There's so much potential. Like, cut this out, adjust this a little bit, and this is a very good movie. I like it still, but it's definitely middle of the road for me as far as Star Wars ranking goes. Which, by the way, I'll be doing a ranking video for the entire Star Wars franchise, and I'm collaborating with Film Is Now, so it'll actually be over on their channel. I'll put a little promo up on my channel to kind of point you guys to that direction. But yeah, I'm gonna do a ranking. It's hard because with Star Wars, my ranking is constantly changing. Like the top 5 are always shifting around. But with the Rise of Skywalker, I'm really excited to kind of see where that will fall in the whole stretch. And this is Luke's Yoda moment when he's training Rey. Very reminiscent of Yoda in Empire Strikes Back on Dagobah. Balance. She's feeling the Force. This is interesting too. Like when she's tempted with the darkness, she like goes right for it. Luke didn't even do that. So it's like, another thing that a lot of people are hung up on is Rey's parentage. Honestly, I'm really happy with what they did in this as far as her origin. I don't think we need to know her origin. I don't understand why that's so vital. And if we find out she's related to one of the main characters, I just hate how that kind of shrinks the whole galaxy, the whole universe, to just this small group of people. It's just, I don't know. I don't want to say the word realistic because there's nothing about this movie or these movies that's realistic. But I just hate it when every character has some connection to each other. It just really kind of diminishes the possible vastness of all the different stories or origins we could have. So I really hope that I would love if they just didn't even touch on who her parents are. Here we go again. Force FaceTime. She's like, not you again. Gosh, Adam Driver is such a good actor. I don't know how many of you guys saw him in that Netflix movie, Marriage Story. Wow. If he doesn't win something for that role, the guy is just unbelievable. So talented. That's a rough movie to watch, too. Like, you watch one of those movies and you feel like you might take one of the people's sides, the wife or the husband. But you really don't. You really kind of understand both sides, and oh, it's so frustrating. Okay, see, Canto Bight, it's an interesting place, but we don't need a solid 30 to 40 minutes there. The whole point of their visit is so, like, minimal, but they make such a big deal out of it. And all these, like, weird alien creatures. Finn is, like, in heaven. He's like, oh, yes. That woman who just walked by had a hologram head. That's crazy. Excuse me. This whole sequence is like the Mos Eisley's Cantina to the 100th power. Like, it's almost too much to take in. And there's all these, if you look really, I mean, you go to a wide shot of the room and you pause it, you see so many cool creatures, but you know what? They don't showcase any of them in any of the shots. They're all just like passed by really quickly. And that kind of defeats the whole purpose of having them there if you don't even notice them. There's the little Jedi boy from the very end. That is such a weird line. I wish I could put my fist through this whole hideous, beautiful town. I don't know. It's a weird line. There he is, Justin Thoreau. Huh, it looks so great. Not now, lovey. I'm on a roll. Ray's got some sick staff moves, man. I forget the name of her stunt double. I should say her lightsaber fighting double, but man, that girl's got skills. I follow her on Instagram and like she does some ridiculous stuff. These poor creatures, man. Ray's like terrorizing them. You see the excuse me, you see all the bodies strewn about around the temple, and it looks a lot like that quick shot in Rey's vision in The Force Awakens when the Knights of Ren are killing people. The only difference is in that shot it's raining and here it's not. So it makes you wonder if the Knights of Ren came from Luke's Jedi school. I don't know, we'll find out. We know we're finally getting some Knights of Ren in the next movie. Back to Canto Bight. Murmur. Like, they didn't need that whole escaping on the race animal scene. All they needed to do is, once they meet DJ, Benicio del Toro's character, they leave the cell, the prison, and then they're on the ship back. That's all they needed. They could have cut that out. Mm-hmm. Old Man Snoke's boudoir. See, and then here they could have left, and they're on the ship back. That whole coin shooter thing is very George Lucas. Those cops. He just referred to them as cops. That's funny. Did you ever notice when this animal startles fit and he falls, he almost lands in a giant steaming pile of poop. Like it's literally steaming right behind his head. We're with the resistance. Yeah, we didn't need this whole scene, but we got it. And I don't hate it. It's just it adds unnecessary length. I mean, and it had to be so expensive too. Maybe that's why they decided to keep it in, but it's unnecessary. I mean, you don't need a getaway on these creatures. Huh. Yo, that was pretty close. It's funny how bougie this ship is. It has like a spiral staircase that comes out of the bottom. Oh yeah, this is when Luke is reaching out to Leia again. So good. Luke, Leia. Here's big pectorals, Kylo. Yo, Luke looks so creepy when Kylo wakes up and he's holding that lightsaber. Let the past die. Kill it if you have to. Oh yeah, this is where she gets her the calling. I think we all held our breath at this point when she steps up to that reflection and we're like, we're going to find out who her parents are. Nope. This is pretty cool, though. I love how they shoot this and the sequencings. I can't talk. The sequencing is very awesome. Like the echoes and all that. Who is she talking to? When right here. I should have felt trapped or panicked. Who's she talking to? Hmm. And of course, it makes sense that we only see her face because it's a callback to when Luke went into that Force cave in Empire Strikes Back and decapitated Vader and only saw his face inside. Oh yeah, that's who she's talking to. Yeah, she's talking to Kylo Ren, so it's like she's recapping to him what she experienced. We we're gonna do a pit stop really quick. I'm gonna keep the movie going, but I'll be back in 2 seconds. I'm back. They touched hands. Luke busted him. Busted. It's the closest we get to Luke lightsaber fighting Rey, stick fighting her. She's so convinced she can turn Ben Solo. Maybe she does in the next movie. We shall see. That's brutal. She's like, here's a lightsaber, Luke. Oh, you're not going to help? Then he's our last hope. Dude, this was such a surprise. I love this part. Yoda. And they go back to the puppet. Oh, I love it so much. Feel the warm and fuzzies inside. That puppet looks so good. real page turners, they are not. I hope we get more Yoda in the next movie. I mean, none of the characters know who Yoda is except Luke. So, I love Yoda's speeches. So inspiring. Oh, they just sit there and watch it burn together. Oh, that Yoda bit is so good. It's one of my favorite parts of this movie is the Yoda part. I can do it, but it's gonna cost you. Huh. We stole it. Huh. TIE Interceptor, X-Wing. Man, Poe is so angry. He's so angry. He doesn't even know what her plan is yet, and he's losing his mind. We found a code breaker. I don't know how much time I can buy. There we go. She had the Jedi texts. Is this some sort of new escape pod on the Falcon that we've never seen before? In and out, jump in and out, and she's in this coffin escape pod. I would like to see a scale size of Snoke's ship, kind of scale comparison to how big the Death Star was. It has to be massive. I'm sure it's close to the size of the Death Star. Slice a slit in their shield. See, I would have much rather have had more on of their infiltration mission on Snoke's ship and less of Canto Bight. It's a really funny transition of you think it's this ship landing, but it's just an iron steaming or first order uniforms. It's very funny. I don't know why, but every time it always makes me think of something like you would have seen in Spaceballs or something. She's like, Ray, turn to the light. You'll turn. Huh. They don't know that Snoke's the one manipulating their thoughts. Or does Kylo Ren know more? It's interesting. There we go. This scene with Snoke is really good. Oh, that was decent of him to give that back to Rose. These I was going to say Imperial. These First Order uniforms are like they remind me of something Santa's elves would wear. They've got these super pointy shoulder pads. Holdo fully goes pew. You can see her mouth pew pew. It's pretty funny. I think Ryan Johnson did say on the record that she was during all her blaster scenes, she would notoriously say pew pew, and he had a hard time finding actual footage of her not doing it. This is where that cut footage of Tom Hardy as a Southern stormtrooper was cut out. Boy, am I glad that was cut out. It's laughably bad. Ho ho ho! Look who's back in the house. Leia. There we go. Stun. So, not since A New Hope, the opening scene in A New Hope, have we seen any blasters use stun in any live action until that shot. Here they go. They're off to Crete. So not Crete. What's the name of the planet? Crete? Yeah, Crate. Hmm. Hmm. He's like, no, they tricked me. This move by Holdo is so epic. I love it. Great sacrifice. And taking out Snoke's ship, that's a big deal. Dirty. Hmm. It's funny they talk about being out of the range of their weapons. Those those transports are actually further away than their main ship. Whatever. Plot holes. This part is so great. I love it. I just loved how unexpected and how much of a surprise it was. Mm. And kills his true enemy. Oh, dude. This shot right here is everything. So awesome, dude. And then you're like, what? I love this fight scene. Maybe. And I don't know what that was, but that guy got shredded when he fell down that pit. This part's weird because one of this guy's weapons mysteriously disappears. And then right there, he just loses one of them. And then she's like, Kylo. So good. Let the past die. Hmm. They were no one. Hmm. How things would have been different if she joined him. Think about that. How would this have been different? Holdo, come on. What are you doing? There we go. Fighting over Luke's light or Anakin's lightsaber. It also took out a bunch of Star Destroyers, too. It is pretty funny how everything in this port or bay is destroyed except for one single ship. Part's so funny. Gets peeled off to reveal BB-8. This fight was definitely a letdown. The bit they showed in the trailer really set kind of an unexpected hope because this was really a letdown. There's a lot of passion between, a lot of history between Finn and Phasma. But gosh, what a letdown. Boom! Take that, Phasma. Rebel scum. Her death is a letdown too. Hoping for a little bit more when it came to her passing. Snoke's body just like severed. The girl murdered Snoke. Getting there. 35 minutes, guys. We're getting there. Almost through. Crate's a really cool planet. I kind of like, they did a good job of establishing the aesthetic here. And those Volptexes, those crystal foxes. Very cool stuff. Is he really tickling BB-8's belly? It's pretty funny. I really like everything that happens here on Crate. Mm-hmm. You're like, what's that? That's Death Star tech. A lot of this is, at least this part is very similar to the initial shots from Hoth in Empire Strikes Back. And there's director Gareth Edwards, Rogue One director Gareth Edwards, standing right next to the guy that licks the dirt and says salt. Man, these skim speeders look so jank. They're cool. I just think it's funny how they're like old and broken down. Such a cool visual aesthetic too, with the surface being a white salt and with the skim speeders going across and the ski kicking up that red dirt, giving it like a red trail. Very, very cool visual. This very cool visual cue and thing to do. Same with when gunfire hits the ground, it makes a big red explosion. That really comes in handy when Luke appears. Mhm. Yeah. The Falcon with the assist. It's awesome. Falcon seems to always come right when you need it. Here we go. Some awesome, some awesome Millennium Falcon space flight music. It's just like the asteroid field in Empire. The music is. And the porgs keep popping up. Taking heavy losses. No, I legit thought Finn was dead in this movie when this part was coming down. I thought for sure he was going to fly right into that, blow it up. God, talk about radiation burns. He's flying right through that beam. There has to be some long term effects. Yeah, I mean, I legit thought he was dead. Like self-sacrifice. And then Rose comes and knocks him down. At the last minute. Hang with me, hang with me. We're almost there. It's a good line. Not fighting what we hate, but saving what we love. Ooh, talk about your all-time backfires. No one's coming to help. But wait. Yeah, C-3PO is very absent from this movie. And based on what we've seen, it seems like he's going to have a very important role in The Rise of Skywalker. Luke. What a sweet reunion. Brother and sister. That's so funny. No one's ever really gone. It's so sweet. I always get so sad that Carrie Fisher's gone. Dude, I love this part, and there are so many people that despise this part. I was blown away when it clicked in my head as to what Luke was doing. It's easily one of my top 4 Star Wars moments. Like, love it so much. What a cool shot. He comes walking out of there. Every gun we have to fire on that man. Mm. It's like a red mushroom cloud coming out of where they're firing at Luke. Excuse me. Hmm. This is so great. Gosh, I love it so much. He just comes out and he's like, hmm. Yo, I love this part. He's like, this is a distraction. No. I still wish they would have given him the green lightsaber. 2-1. So tired. Must stretch. Make it to end. Well, don't look at me. Follow him. Let's see. There's your secret way out, but it's blocked by stones. You can do it, Ray. There we go. subtly you don't see a footprint, which my nephew caught that the first time we watched this. He's like, Luke doesn't have footprints. He's like, what's going on? The rebellion is reborn today. The war is just beginning. And I will not be the last Jedi. So cool. Oh my gosh. But how is the Rise of Skywalker? How does that title play into what's happening next? I don't understand. And I want to so badly. Strike strike me down in anger and I'll always be like you. Or always be with you, just like your father. Very cool use of camera work and that red flooring. Dude, this part, man, oh my gosh. I was so hyped when I realized what was going on the first time I saw this. He's like, what? Cut to Luke. He's floating, dude. Force projecting. That's so awesome, dude. Nice, Luke. Nice. Very well done. I love this part. He's looking out at the sunset. Thanks for everything, Luke. Got the double suns, just like on Tatooine. Which makes you wonder, that's probably one of the main reasons he picked this planet, Bacto. And there he goes. He is one with the Force is one with him. It's officially 3 a.m. and I need to be in bed. Just a little over 10 minutes left. finds the dice. This is great. And then Rey closes the door on him. It's like a symbolic metaphor in a way. There goes the dice. Force projection too. Man, I'm telling you, the Resistance is bare bones right now. How are they going to recover from this? Hey, and it's the first time Poe meets Rey at the very end of the second sequel trilogy. And there's the Jedi text. It's cool that they're all on the Millennium Falcon right now, though. That's because he's not totally gone. We're going to get Force Ghost Luke, guarantee. Oh, and here's this weird epilogue thing. This, I mean, I see what they're doing here, but this feels kind of out of place. And I mean, maybe this is alluding to the fact that because they were on Canto Bight and these kids got to see him, they were reinvigorated into wanting to join the Resistance. That's my guess. Notice that kid used the Force to get this broom. And of course, the broom is supposed to kind of look like a lightsaber. The end, written and directed by Rian Johnson. Well, that was The Force Awakens, guys. This is the last live stream watch along for Star Wars I'll be doing. If you join me tonight, which only a few of you did, but that's totally fine because I did this so late. Thank you for joining if you did. And if you're watching this as a rerun, thanks for watching, and feel free to give it a thumbs up if you liked it. If this is something you want me to see me do more in the future, let me know, please. And let me know what you're hoping to get from the Rise of Skywalker. What kind of finality you want in the whole Skywalker franchise. You know, normally I do 1-minute movie reviews, ranking videos, and all kinds of other movie-related stuff. But I thought, you know what, let's try some live stream stuff. I'm trying to get a better hold of the whole live stream world and format. So this is kind of, not only is it practice, but I thought it would be kind of a simple way to not have a complex presentation, but still be able to kind of interact with the movie in a longer format. But anyways, again, you guys, thanks so much for watching. Really means a lot. I've seen my channel grow a lot over the last 2 years. Slow but steady. Every day a little bit bigger. And it's because of your support and your comments and everything that keeps me going. Again, I'm seeing The Rise of Skywalker on Tuesday. I couldn't be more excited. So be sure to watch for my review coming a couple days after that. Probably Wednesday, maybe Thursday. And then a ranking video of the entire saga by Friday or Saturday. Again, that'll be over at Film Is Now. And I will be sure to do a short promo video here on my channel that'll point you into that direction so that you can find it. Again, you guys, thanks so much for watching. And until next time, may the Force be with you.